Hi, I'm Anjali Mahto and I'm a consultant dermatologist and author of the Skincare Bible. Here are my top tips for dealing with acne. So acne is just the medical word for spots, so doctors use the two terms interchangeably. So don't be alarmed if someone says, oh my God, you're suffering with acne. It is the same as just having spots. Acne is a really common problem, and nearly 80% of the population will suffer with spots at some point in their lives. Now, when spots develop, they don't necessarily always look the same. In actual fact, any one person that's got moderate to severe acne might find that they've actually got a combination of whiteheads and blackheads and nodules and cysts. There's this real misconception that blackheads occur due to blockage of dirt in the pores, and that's absolutely not the case. The reason why a blackhead looks black is because the material inside it has become oxidized when it comes into contact with air. So it's nothing to do with cleanliness or personal hygiene. It's simply what a blackhead looks like. It's not to do with dirt. If you are suffering with spots, it is really important to get your skincare routine right. And this starts off firstly by making sure that you are cleansing your skin morning and evening. It is really important that if you wear makeup, sunscreen, you live in a polluted city, all of the skin is cleaned properly, particularly before you go to sleep at night. There are a number of ingredients that can be particularly helpful for acne-prone skin. So things like salicylic acid, glycolic acid, niacinamide, tea tree oil, and zinc. It is worthwhile looking for skincare products, so face washes, toners, serums that contain these, because they can help reduce the amount of congestion in the skin. If you've tried skincare products or over-the-counter products for several weeks, but your skin isn't getting any better, or your spots are becoming much worse, becoming much more extensive and affecting other additional body areas, so not just your face, but your back and your chest, or if your spots are starting to scar or affect your mental health, it is actually important that you start seeking medical attention, and that might be the point where you go and see your GP or a dermatologist. There's often this idea that if you have acne-prone skin or blemish-prone skin that you shouldn't moisturize. That's actually a bit of a myth. The truth is that the oil content and the water content of your skin are completely different. So whilst your skin may be oily, it doesn't mean that it has the necessary hydration it requires. So using a moisturizer is actually very worthwhile. Sometimes we do break out at the most unfortunate times, and if you've got a big social event coming up, for example, a wedding, and you find that you break out a couple of days beforehand, it is actually possible to make that spot go down very quickly. A dermatologist can inject a small amount of steroid directly into a large spot, and it will go down within about 24 to 48 hours. In terms of over-the-counter measures, it's worthwhile looking for a targeted spot treatment that contains at least 2% salicylic acid. So personally, I use a product either by Kiehl's or The Ordinary, depending on what's available to me, but there are plenty of them on the market. So it's just worthwhile looking for that 2% salicylic acid. Acne tends to affect the face, the back, and the chest. And the reason why we get spots in these areas are because these are where we have the highest density of oil glands or sebaceous glands in the body. That's why you don't see spots, generally speaking, on other parts of your body other than those described areas. There is a very specific type of acne known as acne cosmetica, and this is a type of acne that can occur as a result of using really oily-based makeup products or actually using hairstyling products. So if you are getting a lot of forehead acne, for example, you think about the styling products that you're using in your hair, because they could be something that are driving it. If you find that you tend to get spots on one side of your face or one cheek more so than the other, have a think about your mobile phone use. Our mobile phone surfaces tend to be quite dirty. We don't tend to clean them very often. And heat generated from the phone and it being compressed against the skin, particularly if that surface isn't clean, can lead to acne on one side of the face. Facial mapping for acne is something that seems to have gained an awful lot of popularity. So the idea that, if you have spots on your forehead, it might be related to dairy or gluten or sugar. This actually comes from an ancient Chinese practice. And the truth is, Western medicine doesn't accept this. There is no evidence that eating certain foods will actually manifest themselves as spots in certain parts of your face. There's just no evidence behind this. I wouldn't recommend that you try and control your acne with diet alone, but if you are somebody that notices a flare-up in relationship to foods that you eat, it may be worthwhile keeping a food diary and limiting those things in your diet. I often see a lot of women that have started training or they do a lot of working out at the gym and they have developed spots on their back or their chest. This is surprisingly common. heat and sweat combined with occlusive clothing or tight sports bras can actually lead to the development of spots in these areas. There's a couple of things that you can do that can help limit spots at these sites. The first is actually to think about using a body wash that contains salicylic acid in it. There's plenty on the market. It's just a case of, looking one up that you find that is suitable for you, that you're happy to use. The second thing is to make sure that after you have done exercise, try and shower straight away. It isn't a great idea to sit around in your gym kit grabbing a juice or a coffee for 20 minutes, half an hour. You really do want to get your skin as clean as possible, as quickly as possible. The third thing that can be quite helpful if you can't shower immediately is, one of the things I do is I keep salicylic acid-based face wipes in my gym kit, and if I can't shower immediately, I will use these face wipes that contain salicylic acid to just wipe down my back and my chest to reduce acne formation at those sites. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed my guide on how to deal with spots.